What up, guys? GangstaPranksta here, bringing you the not-so-weekly wrestling review. Welcome back to a new episode. On today's episode, we will be reviewing the Royal Rumble, 2 weeks for the Raw, Smackdown, Impact, NXT, Ring of Honor. We are going to be reviewing also a TNA one-night-only pay-per-view. I think it was called Old School. And we're going to talk about Wrestlemania, which happens tonight. So let's just jump into things. Let's start off with the show that... actually, I want to talk about some stuff before we get into the reviews. Sorry for not posting videos as of late, but I'm trying to turn that around, especially this week. So look out for a bunch of content. Hopefully, that is a plan as of right now. Hopefully I can come through with it, though. So this is going to be the start of all that, and catching up on this series is definitely... I think I said that before, and I didn't do it, so I don't know. Take it for what it's worth, which might not be very much, but whatever. Let's just get done with this one first. So let's start out with the show that kind of leads into WrestleMania, which is the Royal Rumble. So the Royal Rumble happened a couple weeks ago, and let's talk about it. So I love the Royal Rumble. Probably one of my favorite pay-per-views ever. I think I would say that. It's definitely a pay-per-view I look forward to every year. The Royal Rumble match alone is, I think, worth the whole pay-per-view. Like, that's what it's all for. Who's gonna go to WrestleMania? Who's gonna main event? Who's gonna main event WrestleMania? You know, what's gonna happen in the Rumble? Because it's been said, this is pretty much a tagline for the show. This is the road to WrestleMania. It all starts here, and it's just exciting because this sets up, what's going to happen in the future. But, should I start it like that? I don't know. But this Royal Rumble, I was kind of looking forward to it. There wasn't a bunch of matches announced. Like, there was only, 3 matches. You had the Royal Rumble, of course, the WWE title match, Bray, Wyatt, and Daniel Bryan. And, also Lesnar and Big Show. That was another match. And then you had the pre-show match, which we'll talk about in a second. But there wasn't really a lot going into this pay-per-view. Just it felt pretty weak going into it. Like, the only thing they've really been building up was the whole Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt thing. They've been building up the Big Show, Brock Lesnar thing too. But that's more like, whatever. Who really cares about seeing Lesnar and Big Show? Like, I like seeing Lesnar, but I'd rather see Lesnar against, somebody else, someone more interesting, someone like a CM Punk, which we've seen before. That was a very entertaining. But against the Big Show, it's like, whatever, and the stuff he did with Mark Henry was just kind of like, who cares? And, so there's just not much looking forward to. And then Cena and Orton, we're going to have a rematch. So, going into this Rumble, I didn't really have high hopes. And I'm kind of glad, because I was disappointed beyond belief. And I think that was a general consensus for this pay-per-view, that was pretty shit. Especially, this is like one of WWE's biggest pay-per-views ever. Like, not ever, but this is a pay-per-view that WWE holds in high regard. Like, this WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam. That's the big 4. And this sucked. This is terrible. I did not enjoy this show. It started out good, and then it went downhill quick. Like, it went fucking high-speed chase. So let's start out with the pre-show. Cody and Goldust versus the New Age Outlaws. Wasn't a big fan of this. The match was fine, but this being on the pre-show, I didn't like that, especially that they had a title change. It's like, why would you have this on the pre-show? That just lets you know, what they think about tag team wrestling. Like, who cares? This should have been on the main card. This should have been on the main card. But throw, a Divas match in the pre-show. No one's going to watch the pre-show. If Divas are there, they're definitely not going to watch, but... Yeah, I would have liked this to be part of the actual card, especially with the title change. That was my only gripe with this. It was okay. It was short. The New Age Outlaws win and are the new WWE Tag Team Champions. Not a big fan of that either. They've come back. They turn on Punk, whatever, with their working with the Authority. I'm just, it's fine that they're back and whatever, but to put the belts on them, I did not like that at all. That was really shitty. I think if Cody and Goldust were to lose the titles to anybody, maybe like the Wyatts, the Real Americans, hell, even put it on like Ryback, but yeah, not the New Age Outlaws. I was not happy to see that. And so yeah, they're the tag team champions. That was whatever. So it was kind of like a flat way to start the show out, because like I personally didn't like the title change, but that was whatever. And then, let's get on to the show. The first match, of course, probably the best thing that happened on this show was Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. They just had a really good, long, back-and-forth match, and Bray won, and looking back on it now, this whole feud sucked. Just I thought they rushed everything, and we'll talk about Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt and what I think they should have done with the Royal Rumble, and we'll talk about that in a second. But it was a good way to start the show. Great match, like I said. Probably, if you're gonna watch anything on the show, definitely watch this. You've probably watched it already though, but yeah, it was awesome. And that was about it. That's all I can say. This was the best thing on the show, and yeah. But next we had Big Show versus Brock Lesnar. It wasn't really much of a match. It was a short squash match with Lesnar just destroying Big Show. He beat the shit out of Big Show. He like broke 2 chairs, something like that. It was ridiculous. But yeah, he put a good whooping on the Big Show. So yeah, like I said, it wasn't much of a match. It was more like a segment. So I don't know. I wouldn't even really count that as a match. Next we got John Cena versus Randy Orton for the WWE title. This was pretty good. Orton won after the Wyatts distract Cena. The fans did not give 2 shits about this match. They didn't want to see it. They didn't care. And one thing that really made me realize that they didn't care was when they chanted, "We want divas." I think when you chant that during a match, that's pretty much like, okay, they definitely do. If they would rather see divas than Cena and Orton, then that's a huge problem. That's a big problem. So that was funny. I laughed at that one, and but they didn't have a bad match. They've just wrestled so many times, the fans don't want to see it. So it was whatever. It was a pretty good match. Orton won. And like I said, the Wyatts track Cena, setting that up for WrestleMania. And then we have the 30-man Royal Rumble match. And I've written some thoughts about this. We'll go through that in a second. So let's just talk about who won. So 30-man Royal Rumble match. It was a pretty good match. The Royal Rumble definitely started out solid. I think as it neared the end, it didn't really pick it up. Like it just kind of, like the beginning was good, and then it kind of just went down from there. Like I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know. If you watch it, I think people would agree, but whatever. One thing I want to talk about this Rumble, okay, so pretty good match. Batista won, so he's going to WrestleMania, whatever. One thing I was kind of disappointed in this Rumble was like it was under an hour. I feel like whenever a Rumble is under an hour, I feel like I was cheated. I feel like the Rumble should always be over an hour, especially 30 guys, and yeah, I just feel like cheated whenever it's under an hour. I don't know, that's just me. So whatever. So I wrote down some thoughts, a couple things. I'll kind of go through them. Okay, so what do I want to talk about? There was a couple people in here that I was hoping that they would shine, but they didn't really have a good Rumble. Like guys like a Sandow or a Fandango, a Ziggler, they were there for pretty much like a cup of coffee, and it really made me realize something, like how much they have fallen off. One thing I really like to do in general with pay-per-views, but more so like WrestleMania and Royal Rumble and stuff and big shows like that, is like I'll take a look at the card now, and then I'll compare it to like, or the year before, so I can see like, oh, this guy was in the main event this year, and now he's not even in the pay-per-view, or this guy got released and he's not here, and holy shit, this guy was here and now he's here, and blah blah blah, stuff like that, and just I saw it in like a bunch of these guys, like Fandango. He was supposed to be like a huge thing, like he had his thing with the Jericho at WrestleMania, and then he was supposed to like. It seemed like he was gonna win the IC title, and then he got injured, and then he just completely got kiboshed, and he never really, recuperated back to the spot that they really wanted him in. And then a guy like Ziggler, who like was former world champion last year, I believe. I don't know if he. I think he was former world champion last year. He was wrestling for it. I think he wrestled Del Rio at the Royal Rumble or something like that. And then here he's in the Rumble for like 5 minutes. And one of those guys was Sando. Sando last year or whatever won the Money in the Bank. It seemed like, oh shit, maybe they were gonna give him a world title match or something. And he cashed it in on Cena. Cena beat him, and it seemed like they were gonna kind of lead to a Del Rio Sando Cena feud at Survivor Series, but never happened. And Sando just kind of, floated away. He had like a little thing with Khali on SmackDown or Raw, and then, it's just like, damn, how much like people just fluctuated from top to bottom. So it's crazy. It was crazy. And so Sando, he was in here for like a little bit. I wish he would have lasted a little bit longer. What else? Oh, Alexander Rusev. This is someone I want to talk about. He debuted in the Rumble. I did not like that at all. Alexander Rusev is supposed to be this next prospect from NXT to debut on the main roster. So it's like, why? Like, I wouldn't mind if they had an NXT match where it's like, okay, we're gonna have an NXT Royal Rumble, and the winner of this will get a spot in the Royal Rumble on WWE's Royal Rumble. That would be cool. Here was just kind of thrown out as like a surprise, but I thought it sucked. Cause like usually like okay, so it was such an ass backwards way of debuting him. First they debuted him in the Rumble, and then they start airing promo packages for him on Raw and SmackDown, and it's like, what? It doesn't make any sense. Like, he was in the Rumble, he got thrown out. Yeah, it took like 5 or 6 guys to throw him out, but like, he still got thrown out. Like, now he's like, Rusev is gonna crush and smash and blah blah blah. It's like, we just saw you, have a cup of coffee in the Rumble. Like, who cares? So I don't know. I thought it came off as really stupid. And the crowd didn't care. They didn't really know who he was, so it was a pretty dumb surprise unless you like watch NXT. It was a wasted spot of a surprise, and I thought that for a couple of things in this Rumble, like the surprises were kind of shit. Like there wasn't a lot of good surprises in the Rumble, and we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, so the whole Rusev thing, whatever. In my opinion, they should have waited till after WrestleMania to debut him, kind of like what they did with Umaga. I compare Rusev to Umaga a lot, but this is like I said before, like, oh, I think Sylvester LaForge should be with Rusev instead of Lana. That's just my opinion. I think, if I remember correctly, Umaga debuted after WrestleMania 24? 23? 22? Whatever. I think he debuted after WrestleMania. He attacked Ric Flair or whatever, and he made a big impact in his return. And I think they could have done something with that with Rusev, but I don't think they should debut him before WrestleMania or at WrestleMania or whatever. They definitely should have waited till after WrestleMania, but that's just my opinion. What else do we gotta say? Cool spot by Kofi, getting back in the ring. That was a really crazy ass jump. Plus he had some nice tights. The Joker tights, those are cool looking. What else? So one of the surprise entrances was Kevin Nash. Honestly, I was surprised that X-Pac didn't appear. I think there was like a couple rumors that he was, but he didn't appear. And I wrote this comment on Twitter. I was live tweeting while I watched the Rumble, and I included some of those thoughts in here because that's what I thought. So I was like, Triple H is in charge when the New Age Outlaws become tag champs and Kevin Nash is in the Rumble. And it was kind of like, I don't know, that's the way I felt, that's why I wrote it. But, yeah, I thought, of all people, I thought X-Pac was going to be in here too. Because, Triple H bringing in all his friends, because that's hashtag best for business. And, I don't know. You know, Nash, he was there, whatever, cool, got a nice pop, and, yeah. So what else do I got? Oh, Roman Reigns. He had a pretty good Royal Rumble, eliminating 12 people. One thing I'll talk about, I knew he was going to have, like, a good Royal Rumble, because, like, they're priming him up for a good spot. They see him as a future talent, whatever. And I knew he was going to eliminate a lot of people, but I didn't know he was going to beat the record for Kane. I was kind of pissed when I found out that he beat Kane's record. I'm like, what? Kane's had that record for like years, and you're just going to throw it away on fucking Roman Reigns? Like, what? I didn't like that at all. I rather have Kane have that record. Maybe tie, but not beat it, or maybe get 10 or something. I don't know. But I was kind of disappointed when I found out Kane lost that stat. That's a stat that he's known for. Like, he eliminated the most people in a Royal Rumble. So, I don't know. Whatever. That's just my thoughts. So what else? Another return that happened was Sheamus. He returned at the Rumble. I didn't know how much I missed him until I saw him again. I was like, oh shit, Sheamus. Yeah, I completely forgot about you. I miss you, buddy. And so it was nice to see him. What else? I don't know about anybody else, but I didn't mind El Torito and being in the Rumble. He did some stuff, whatever. But I didn't hate it. One thing I didn't like about this Royal Rumble, one of the many things I didn't like, was there's way too many tag teams in this. Holy shit. You had Cody and Goldust. You had the Usos, the Wyatts, the Shield, the Real Americans. Just so many tag teams. So I just thought, like, I don't know. I don't like, it's fine for a couple tag teams, but there's like 7 tag teams in there. Like, what the hell? I didn't like that. I was kind of disappointed with the JBL thing. One thing, I wish he at least went for like a clothesline from hell and then someone ducked it and he got thrown out. What he did here was like, it was a waste of a spot, It just came in, got immediately thrown out. I was like, what a shitty thing. Like, yeah, it was kind of funny with his reaction. He just walked it off, went back to the announce table, but I thought it was a waste. I thought it was a complete waste of a spot in the Rumble. And then, okay, so we're nearing the end of the Rumble. Here's number 30. The fans are pumped. They're cheering yes. They can't wait for Daniel Bryan to come out and number 30 and win. And they're going to go ape shit, and yeah. And then when number 30, ticked down and Daniel Bryan didn't come out, the fans were irate. They, number 30 ended up being Rey Mysterio. And yeah, that's when the crowd turned on this match. They turned on everybody. They booed the shit out of this. They wanted Daniel Bryan, and they didn't get it. And I think that's, I don't know. Is that storyline wise? Is that Daniel Bryan? The fans love him. Obviously, they cheer his name every time. They chant yes. They boo when he's not there, getting beaten up. And I don't know, man. Like, is it just WWE being too hard-headed and not like accepting the fact that Daniel Bryan is a star, and they don't want him to be a star because he's a little guy? Is that what it is? 'Cause that's what it comes off as, especially here, where it's like, this whole past half of the last year and this year has been Daniel Bryan's journey to become the WWE champion. And yeah, they throw hurdle after hurdle because they want to build it up. You don't want to give it all away at once, but I don't know. I feel like he should have been in this Rumble, definitely. Well, actually, I'll talk about what I think should have actually happened in a second, but yeah, I think Daniel Bryan should have been number 30, if anything, to end this out. Send the crowd home happy. And what would the pop have been if he won? That would have been insane. They would have went crazy. But yeah, they didn't. So the fans completely just shit on this match from here. They booed him. They grabbed their pitchforks and they just shit all over this match. It was awesome. It was awesome. The crowd reaction was awesome in the sense of like, holy shit, there's like 20,000 people all shitting on this match because of one guy not being in there. It's pretty incredible. So, anyway, so the final four was Punk, Sheamus, Reigns, and Batista. I thought Biggie Langston was going to be in the final four, but he didn't end up making the cut. So, anyway, so Kane eliminates Punk, Roman eliminates Sheamus. I was actually very surprised that Roman came down to the final two with Batista, and the crowd actually got behind Roman near the end because they were like, oh shit, Batista, it's either Batista or Roman, and we don't want to see Batista versus Orton, so fuck it, yeah, Roman, let's go. So they got behind him, but he ended up losing, and yeah, Batista won. So overall, I really didn't like this. I liked the beginning, but I don't know, it really fell off from like, I'd say about 17 and on. It became real, I don't know. I would describe it. It just sucked. I don't know. It's the only way I can describe it. It sucked. I hated it. So I love the Royal Rumble, but this one sucked. No Daniel Bryan. Not a lot of surprises either. Like, one thing I love about the Rumble was all the surprises, and there really wasn't any. You had Rusev, which was a disappointment. You had Nash, which was cool. You had El Torito, which was cool. JBL, disappointment. Sheamus was cool. And that was about it. That's really all there was for surprises. And half of them sucked, so who cares? I was hoping for like Christian or Chris Jericho or even RVD. At one point I thought Evan Bourne was going to make a return, but he didn't end up doing that. So let's talk about what I think they should have done with the Rumble. So of course they were building up that whole Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt thing. This is what should have happened, and it would have been awesome because it would have been a perfect ending to that feud and whatever. Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan, final two guys in the Rumble. Bray Wyatt, Bryan, get the hell out of the ring. I'm going to WrestleMania. I'm going to win the WWE title. I'm going to bring Reign and Terror to WWE. Bryan, no. He ends up turning on Bray Wyatt, eliminates them. He's going to WrestleMania. Crowd goes apeshit. The fans are happy. And then you build towards a Daniel Bryan, Bray Wyatt match, maybe even an Elimination Chamber match, the first ever one-on-one Elimination Chamber match. That could have happened. It could have been interesting. But build it up, fucking throw it on the Elimination Chamber, perfect ending. Daniel Bryan slays the beast that is Bray Wyatt, and then goes on to WrestleMania to defeat Randy Orton, finally becoming the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. That's what should have happened. But what we got instead was just, okay, so Daniel Bryan loses to Bray Wyatt, then is now in the Elimination Chamber to go to become the WWE Champion once again? What? That doesn't make any fucking sense. But whatever. And, yeah, so overall this pay-per-view sucked. I can't really recommend the Rumble. All I can really recommend is Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan. That's about it. Everything else was pretty terrible. And yeah, pretty shit show for a supposed big show. So that was it for the Royal Rumble. I'm done talking about that piece of crap. Let's move on. I actually spent quite a bit of time on that. God damn. Alright, I wasn't expecting to talk about it that long. Alright, next we got Raw. So they announced that the Elimination Chamber will be defended, or the WWE title will be defended at the Elimination Chamber. Blah, blah, blah. They set up a match, The Shield, taking on Bryan, Sheamus, and Cena. Whoever wins gets 3 spots in the Elimination Chamber. Of course, we already know who won and what happens at the Elimination Chamber. One thing I want to talk about the Elimination Chamber is they had a segment on the show. So Orton comes out, complains, blah, I gotta defend my title, Elimination Chamber, fuck the Authority, blah, blah, blah. Batista comes out, says he's gonna challenge whoever at WrestleMania. And then you had Brock Lesnar come out and says he wants the WWE title. And honestly, I thought it would have been amazing if Brock Lesnar was in the Elimination Chamber match. That would have been awesome. You know, he wants to compete for the WWE title. Let him. He's proved why he should. Did he beat Punk? I think he beat Punk. I don't remember. You know, he beat the shit out of Mark Henry, beat the shit out of Big Show. Like, he's proven that, like, he's, you know, taking some of the top guys out, that he deserves a WWE title shot. He's a former world champion. Let him be in the match. And I really think Lesnar should have been in the Elimination Chamber match at the Elimination Chamber. And, you know, I was very surprised when they threw Christian in there. I imagine the Elimination Chamber. Well, what it should have... Okay, so let's go with the scenario that Daniel Bryan won the Rumble, turning on Bray Wyatt. So what would the Elimination Chamber match look like, since he's not going to be in there, since he already has the WWE title match at WrestleMania? So the Elimination Chamber would be, you have Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. That'd be one of the matches. And then for the Elimination Chamber match, you have Orton, you have Sheamus, you have Cena, you have Batista. Hold on. Orton, Batista, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Sheamus, and then I guess you can throw in like an Antonio Cesaro, or maybe, no, throw in Del Rio, because Del Rio and Batista were feuding around this time, so bam. Brock Lesnar, Del Rio, Sheamus, Orton, and Cena. I think that's 6. Yeah, it is. Lesnar, Batista, Orton. I don't know, I'm losing track of all these names. But it would have been awesome if Lesnar was thrown in the Elimination Chamber match. I think that would have been cool. What else do I want to talk about? I don't think there's anything else I want to talk about on this Raw. Yeah, so let's move on to NXT. Nothing really I want to talk about here either. There wasn't really much stuff. You know, they built towards the Adrian Neville Bo Dallas match that will be happening on the NXT pay-per-view thing, and you know I think they announced that it was going to be a ladder match, so that was cool. A bunch of random other stuff happened on the show. Something I really want to talk about, so let's move on. Enough to talk about on that NXT. Let's talk about the Impact. So this was the show. This was Impact's first episode on their Maximum tour. I think they ended up filming 4 episodes of Impact there. I believe so. I know they at least did 2. So whatever, this was the first trip, or the first episode for the UK tour. What a great crowd. Holy shit, I've never seen a TNA arena so full of people. Goddamn, it was nice to see. And I think, you know, you can genuinely see it in the wrestler's face, like, holy shit, this is awesome, wrestling in front of this many people. So I think just seeing, like, the crowd so big and lively, it really added to this whole show, and it was really good. And I want to talk about the direction of TNA, now that I've actually seen, like, okay, the Wolves have debuted, MVP's in TNA, blah, blah, blah. I really like it. Like, I do. They're no longer relying on, like, guys like Jeff Hardy and Sting and Hulk Hogan and all these other old names. Not saying Jeff Hardy's an old name, but, you know, he's a name nonetheless. And they're building this new talent. You know, they got Magnus, who's a world champion. He got some good promos on these Impacts, and I want to talk about that. You got you got Eric Young, but I was going to mention Ethan Carter III, and I was actually just thinking about Ethan Carter III, like, holy shit, this guy was Derek Bateman on NXT, and I watched some of his promos there, and he's just a funny guy, and it's like, okay, if he ever makes it to the WWE roster, he'll be like a low mid-card guy, constantly be doing jobs, maybe probably like a Santino, maybe less. And it's like, holy shit, this guy he went to TNA, started fresh, completely repackaged him, and now he's doing so well. Like, I don't see him as like that low-tier job guy. I see him as like, holy shit, he's like, I don't want to say he's main event, he's definitely upper mid-card right now, but he could be a main eventer eventually, and I really like Ethan Carter. And then I was thinking about some other stuff, like, holy shit, what other guys have, like, you know, taken, they were, you know, before they had a gimmick, it wasn't working out so well, and then they became this new person, and now their career's really starting to flourish. A couple names came to mind. One, Ethan Carter III. of course, formerly Derek Bateman. 2, you got to mention Husky Harris turning into Bray Wyatt. Matt fucking Husky Harris, nothing. Like, oh god, this guy, he's different. He's got a different look to him. But it's just whatever. And then he becomes Bray Wyatt, and he cuts these promos, and his in-ring stuff's good. And it's like, holy shit. Another one is Johnny Curtis to Fandango. That's another big transformation. Johnny Curtis, pretty vanilla guy, pretty bland. Comes Fandango. Oh, I'm Fandango. And it's interesting how a different character might just take you from like maybe a mid card to main eventer, like from doing nothing to doing something. It's crazy. It's really crazy. So, anyway, so back to the whole new direction at TNA. They're building up stars like Ethan, Magnus. You have guys that you've got some decent names. You got Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy and stuff, and now you got guys like MVP and Bobby Lashley, and then they're bringing in the new guys, Tigre Uno, Sonata. They're pushing, or they're starting to like develop things for everybody. They're bringing Kenny King back into the mix. It seems to be a whole well-rounded show, and I really like this. I haven't been excited about TNA like this since, I would say, probably like the end of 2008. Like, I kind of got this vibe like after I don't know what Bound for Glory it was, but it was the one with AJ and Sting, and AJ beat Sting, whatever. And then after that Bound for Glory, it just seemed like it was a whole new show. You had Nigel McGuinness appear, start his feud with Kurt Angle. You had the X Division doing stuff, the women's, the tag team. You had a good roster, and it just seemed like a good show. And I'd say that was pretty much the last time I was pretty excited for TNA, like honestly. And now I'm kind of back into that. Like, holy shit, this TNA, the roster's awesome. They've got all this different talent. They got Sonata, Tigre Uno, all this international talent that they've had for a while that they're kind of starting to do stuff with now. There's no one really sitting on the sidelines. Everyone's just kind of doing something. And a perfect example is like Zema Ion. Wasn't really doing anything before. Now he gets thrown with the bromans, and he's like, and DJZ and all that stuff, and it's just entertaining. Everyone's doing something. I really like that, and it's good. It's good. Eric Young's another guy. He's had a lot of things in TNA where he's like, he's had some ups and downs where he's doing some stupid stuff and whatever. He doesn't appear for a long period of time because TNA has nothing for him. And, now he's doing this whole thing with Abyss. One thing I want to thank God that Joseph Park is gone, and now we have Abyss. Now, it's not a good Abyss. The one that we have on TV now with I don't even know what the mask is like yellow or some shit. It sucks. But, thank God. Joseph Park gone. So, I love the direction of TNA. It's fucking awesome. So, that's cool. So yeah, anyways, let's get back onto Impact. This is the first episode of the UK tour. Like I said, the arena full of people was awesome. It just added to the whole show. And the show was good, and then adding to that just makes it like a great show. So, is there anything I want to talk about here? Not really. The only thing I really want to talk about was, of course, this was the debut of MVP, who revealed himself to be the new investor in TNA. I like the way they debuted him too. They had this little backstage segment thing where the Wolves were in a car with MVP, but you didn't know it was MVP, and you had a camera guy there. And then Eddie or Davey smacks the camera out of his hand. The camera falls on the ground, and then MVP gets out the car, but you don't know it's him. You only see his feet because the camera's on the ground. And Davey or the Wolves and MVP walk away. I just thought it was a nice, I don't know, it was cool, like, thing to just build to that suspense of like who it was. And yeah, I like that. MVP now at TNA. Of course he's doing this whole investor thing, which it's cool, but I don't want to see MVP the investor. I want to see MVP the wrestler. I'm interested to see how they're going to transition that from being like, okay, he's coming in as this business guy to change TNA, whatever, and now he's going to start wrestling. So I'm interested to see that. But it was cool. I enjoyed this episode of SmackDown. Next we got that episode of Impact. Now we're going to talk about SmackDown. A couple things to actually talk about SmackDown. Antonio Cesaro defeating Dolph Ziggler for an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. I was pretty surprised that I don't know, it was just a random match. Like, honestly, oh, we're going to throw Antonio Cesaro and Ziggler, who both haven't really been doing anything. And one of them is going to be in the biggest match of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. It's like, what? One guy's a tag team wrestler, the other guy is constantly doing jobs or not being used at all. So it's like, what? This is kind of weird. But Cesaro won and is in the Rumble, which was actually pretty exciting to hear. But yeah, I haven't actually seen the match, but I'm guessing he did some impressive stuff. What else do we have on this show? Oh, yes, two more things I want to talk about. First, the breakup of the Primetime Players. Titus turning on Darren after their loss to Ryback. Kind of disappointed with WWE's tag team division right now. I don't know about right now, but at least like around this time period, where it's like, okay, you go from having all these tag teams to like, around this time, you're like breaking up half of them. Primetime Players break up. Before that, what are their name? Tenzai and Brodus. What was their tag team name? I don't remember. Whatever. Fuck it. I don't know. Whatever. I thought it came to me. It didn't. So you have them. They break up. Then the Primetime Players break up. Then there's dissension in the Shield. Then there's dissension in the Real Americans. There's another tag team that broke up around this time or was having problems. Shield, Real Americans, Primetime Players. I am not remembering the other one. Alright. There was a fourth. Who was it? Yeah, I don't know. But, and it's just like, oh shit, why are you breaking up all these tag teams? Like, I kind of like the Primetime Players. I mean, they haven't really been doing anything recently. But I like them as a team, millions of dollars. They were entertaining, and I was actually surprised that they never won the tag team titles. But I'm really interested to see what they do as a singles wrestler. I think WWE's high on Titus. He's got a good look. He's good on the mic. His in-ring is not as good. It's definitely, he can always improve on that. But, he's got charisma, which will definitely help him. And one thing I'll never forget about Titus O'Neil, that something I looked down on him for was that he was new to wrestling, was NXT Season 2. You had, it was the end of the episode, Low-Key won, or Caval, whatever you want to call him. He won, and then you had the other NXT guys attack him, and then it turned into this whole huge brawl with the NXT rookies were attacking Low-Key, and then the coaches were supposed to make the save. And then two things. One, you had Titus O'Neil attack one of the other guys on the NXT NXT roster thing. Like, I think he attacked, we'll just say Curtis Axel. He attacked him, and then they ended up like becoming friends by the end of the segment. And then he like took R-Truth's finisher and no-sold it. He got like immediately back up. It was like, damn, like what an idiot, But he's definitely gotten a lot better since then, and yeah, I'm interested to see what he's gonna do. Next we have, next thing I want to talk about, Christian made his return on SmackDown, took on Jack Swagger in an elimination chamber qualifying match. Christian won, which I was really surprised that they're even throwing him in the match. One, because he's been injured. He comes back injured, comes back injured, and to put him back in this big match at the Elimination Chamber, like, holy shit, like, that's interesting. I didn't expect that, but yeah. So that's next we have Ring of Honor. Nothing I really want to talk about here. They just continue the top prospect tournament, and yeah, like I said, nothing I really want to talk about. There is something I want to talk about in the next episode of Ring of Honor. Next we got WWE Raw. Oh, here's something I want to talk about. The New Age Outlaws versus Cody Rhodes and Goldust from the WWE Tag Team title match in a steel cage. I don't want to talk about the match so much because it's blah, but that moonsault. Holy shit. You know, fucking Road Dogg. Okay, so Cody goes for the moonsault and just completely, no one's there to catch him. He falls right in the ring on his knee. I felt so bad for the guy. It looked so painful. Because, like, I tried to put myself in that position. Like, okay, what if I was standing on top of that cage and I'm jumping and I land? It doesn't even have to be on my knee. I'm landing on my back. I'm landing on my stomach. That's going to hurt. I'm falling like 10. That's more than 10 feet. That's like 30 feet. I think it's, I don't know how tall the cage is from the ring, but whatever. You're jumping off the cage, and you're landing on this thin mat that has wood holding it up, and like, that's gotta fucking kill. And I just really felt bad for the guy, and then no one was there to break his fall. And yeah, hopefully he doesn't have any long-term effects from that. Or I think he got injured. He like tore his MCL or ACL or whatever's in his leg. And, yeah, it was just a pretty brutal bump. Next, I want to talk about... Oh, they debuted Emma here. They had a dance-off with Summer Rae. And they debuted Emma. Santino was like, hey, come on in. Come dance. And, so yeah, I guess she's a part of the roster. So, to be a part of the roster now, all you got to do is win a dance contest. And you are in. So, that was great. Next we got the main event of that show is Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton. Really good match. Bryan won, and then Kane attacked him. Another thing I want to talk about was the whole build-up for the whole Wyatt's and Shield match that was going to happen at the Elimination Chamber match. I'm liking the build-up. It was just like both guys playing mind games. Like, okay, you have the Shield, they win a match, whatever. Then the Wyatts appear on the screen, they cut a promo. And then the Shield does the same thing to the Wyatts. After the Wyatts have a match, the Shield comes on the screen. Hey, blah, 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 you know, whatever, we can play these games too. And it was just like a good setup for this match, just a back and forth thing. And it's just kind of random too, like how this whole thing came together. Where it's like, okay, Bray's facing Daniel Bryan at Royal Rumble, and then the next month he's feuding with the Shield. Like, what? I don't know. I think the whole CM Punk walking out thing really ruined the plans that they've had. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, it's just some of the stuff that happened was kind of random. Next we got NXT. Nothing I want to talk about here. I think this is where this is where they officially announced there was going to be a ladder match at the NXT pay-per-view thing. Next we got Impact. Of course, this was in the UK as well, or wherever they shot it, Ireland, Scotland, whatever. EY, Eric Young, and Abyss had a Monsters Ball match, and during the match, EY pulled off Abyss's mask to reveal he is Joseph Park, and hopefully finally killing Joseph Park off, and bringing in Abyss. What else? That's really about it. There was just a couple other matches and segments and stuff, but nothing really like worth mentioning. So there was that. Then we got SmackDown. Nothing worth mentioning here. Ring of Honor. Okay, this is the episode I want to talk about. This was actually a really good episode from top to bottom. I don't know which episode it was, but if you want to search up by main events, this was the main event where AJ Styles finally made his return to Ring of Honor against Roderick Strong. But before we get into that, the whole show was good. So it started off with Hanson versus Andrew Everett. Pretty good match. Hanson wins, and this was the semifinals match for the Top Prospect Tournament. So the finals of the Top Prospect Tournament is going to be Raymond Rowe, who looks like a skinhead, taking on Hanson, which Should be a good match. Two big guys just gonna beat the shit out of each other. It's gonna be good. And then we had Michael Bennett versus Cedric Alexander. These two had a good match, good back and forth match. Bennett ended up winning, and then the main event was AJ Styles versus Roderick Strong. Just it was an hour of wrestling pretty much. Not too many segments and stuff like that. So it was really entertaining. So of course the main event, AJ versus Roderick. They had like a 25-minute match. It was like I was 30 minutes into the show, and then it's like, oh, we already have the main event. And I was like, what? That's crazy. So AJ versus Roderick Strong. Really good match. AJ wins after a dangerous-looking Styles clash. So what ended up happening, I think we've all seen the footage by now. So he goes for the Styles clash, but all Roderick had to do was just like, he didn't have to do anything. AJ has him, whatever. They're going to take him, face bump, and you're safe. But what Roderick ended up doing was tucking his head, and he landed on his neck, and it looked violent as shit. And then a couple weeks later, come to find out, I think the same thing happened to a guy AJ was wrestling in England, and that guy ended up breaking his neck as well. So not too much luck with AJ with the Styles clash. I don't know if he's going to continue using that move. We'll have to wait and see. But this, who's to blame here? Is it AJ or is it the wrestler? And I think it's more so on the wrestler, where it's like, you don't have to do anything. AJ has you. Oh, you're going to go, he's going to go forward. You're just going to kind of fall. You don't have to do anything. The guys are tucking their necks. I remember when I saw him do it to Kazarian. Holy shit, that looked brutal. But this was a nasty looking one that he did on Roderick. And I think, luckily, Roderick didn't end up breaking his neck or injuring himself. Probably a little shaken up because he did land on his head and shoulder. Looked brutal as shit. But yeah, it was a really good match. The ending was scary and a close call. But it was enjoyable. And then after the match, the Decade attacks AJ until a bunch of guys make the saves. So that was cool. Next we got TNA One Night Only, hashtag Old School. We'll just go through this real quick. First we got Austin Aries, Sanjay Dutt, and Chris Sabin in a three-way X Division match. Pretty good match. Aries wins. Next we got EC3 versus Dewey Barnes. Blah match. EC3 wins. Next we have Bully Ray versus Tommy Dreamer in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Good match. Bully wins. This whole pay-per-view was, based around this match, Dreamer and Bully Ray, but they didn't really show the build-up. Like, unless you saw the footage, it was just kind of like, why is Dreamer in TNA and why is he facing Bully Ray? So they didn't really do a good job of describing, why they're having a match, but whatever. A good match. Bully wins. Next we got Bad Influence and Velvet Sky taking on the Bromans and Elite Top Low with special guest referee Eric Young. It was a 6-man mixed match. Good match. Bad Influence and Velvet win. One thing I want to say, Bad Influence was awesome here. They were just entertaining as shit here. They did some good stuff, and I really liked it. What else do we got? Next we had Jeff Hardy versus Abyss in a Monsters Ball match. This was a really good match. Hardy ended up winning. They just did some pretty innovative stuff. And one thing I want to talk about, so I watched this One Night Only pay-per-view before I watched the two Impacts. So I saw the Jeff Hardy Abyss Monsters Ball match. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I watched the Eric Young Abyss Monsters Ball match on Impact, and then they were pretty much the same match. They used the same spots. It was the same. It was exactly the same, but whatever. So anyways, it was a really good match. He did some cool little spots, and it was just a good hardcore match. I really enjoyed it. Next we got Kurt Angle versus Mr. Anderson. Good match. Angle wins. One thing I want to talk about, before the match, Angle did an interview with Jeremy Borash where he's like, he's had a lot of rivalries, but whatever. But one everyone talks about is Mr. Anderson. I'm like, what? Are you fucking serious? I'm pretty sure when people talk about Kurt Angle and the stuff he did in TNA, they talk about Samoa Joe, they talk about Sting, AJ, Christian, Jeff Jarrett, Bobby Roode, Desmond Wolfe. If the whole Mr. Anderson feud, that's probably at the bottom of the list of stuff he's done in TNA. By far, the Jeff Jarrett things, it's a shoot, it's all personal, Jarrett stole his wife and blah, blah, blah. And to say that the whole Mr. Anderson thing is the one that people talk about is like, I understand you have to put the match over, but you don't gotta lie to people. Like, Jesus Christ, who gives a shit about Mr. Anderson and Kurt Angle compared to, like, other stuff that he's done, so. Samoa Joe and Angle? Does no one remember that? When Angle came in and headbutted Joe and he had a bloody nose and he came up with those huge eyes? That was awesome. That was fucking awesome, but whatever. Apparently, I don't know, apparently everyone talks about Mr. Anderson and Kurt Angle. I don't know. I'm definitely not one of them. So that was whatever. Next we got Bobby Roode versus James Storm in a last man standing match. Good match, Roode wins, but there was points in this match where they forgot they were wrestling in a last man standing match. Like they were, okay, so they do like a spot and then they both knock down, then they gotta get up, and then Earl Hebner's like, okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then he just stops counting because they're not getting up. They're not getting, they completely forget, like, oh yeah, we got to get up by 10. We can't just sit here and sell forever. And I think it might have been Earl counting too fast, but yeah, it kind of took away from the matchup points where it's like, okay, they're laying down in the ring for definitely more than 10 seconds, and then even Earl Hebner's like, I'll just stop counting, whatever. So it's like, I don't know. Good match, but yeah, they could have been paying attention a little bit more. And there was a nasty spot in this match where Roode, okay, so he set up 2 chairs, and he was gonna like put him through them, and so Roode picked him up for a Roode bomb, and but he stepped back too much, so when he went for the move, he threw Storm on the back of the chair, like the back edge of the steel chair, like where you lean back on a chair, on that edge where the back is. He nailed him on it. It was nasty. I was like, holy shit, that's gotta hurt. And you could see him writhing in pain, and it was bad. It was bad. It looked like it hurt a lot. So that was that. And then the main event was Magnus versus Mojo for the TNA World Heavyweight title. Good match. Magnus wins. So overall, it was a decent one night only show. If you're a fan of TNA, definitely check this out. I thought it was a good show from top to bottom. During the show, I was kind of like, I don't know. I didn't enjoy it for the fact that like it had nothing to do with the current product. I know it's one night only. It's supposed to be a special event, but like some of it's, I don't know how to explain. I was just like, if it has nothing to do with what's going on TV, I don't really have an interest for it. Like, I don't know. That was just me. I was kind of like, yeah, it's kind of a waste to watch because, it doesn't progress anything on the storylines. It's really nothing I can't see on TV, so I don't know. There's nothing special about watching it. I guess that's a good way to put it. There's nothing special about watching it. So, yeah. So now we'll finally get into the WrestleMania predictions. Of course, WrestleMania is happening tonight, and you probably have already watched the show or watching it currently while this goes up or whatever. So let's actually talk about it a little bit. Let's go through all the matches. Of course, there are 7 matches announced. There's 8, but there's a pre-show match. I don't know. I guess you don't count the pre-show match in the regular match. And, whatever. Overall, this whole card is, I don't know. It's interesting. Hold on. This thing is not popping up. The whole list. Okay. So this whole list of things, this card, this WrestleMania card, is it WrestleMania worthy? And yes and no. I think more so yes. I think it does feel like a big WrestleMania show. They've hyped it and built it up enough. But going into this, there's definitely like, this is going to be a pretty shit WrestleMania, you know. I know it's going to be WrestleMania 30, they're going to pull out all the stops, but I don't know. It's just me, like, you know, Royal Rumble sucked, so shit, what do they got planned for WrestleMania? And then some of the stories that were happening on TV just were blah. So let's go through the card. So first match, the pre-show match, of course, because that's where all the tag team title matches go. So we have the Usos versus the Real Americans versus Ryback versus Los Matadors. Interesting little match here. I think I booked something like that in my how I would book WrestleMania show, and you know, I'll plug that at the end. But okay, so we got the Usos, Real Americans, Ryback, and Los Matadors. It really comes down to the Usos or Ryback. I don't think the Los Matadors are going to win, and Real Americans seem like they're going to break up soon, so I don't think they're going to win. So I would have to say either Usos or Ryback. Maybe give it to Ryback, so let the heels hold it, and then drop it back to the Usos. Maybe that might happen, or I don't know. I think the Usos are actually going to retain the titles. And then feud with Ryback, because there's really no heel teams they could feud with. Maybe the Wyatt family eventually. But as of right now, I guess those would be the two candidates for them to feud with. It would be Ryback or the Wyatt family. I guess, I'll go with that. The Usos, and then they feud with the Wyatt family, and then the Wyatt family wins, and they become WWE Tag Team Champions. I can see that, yeah. Alright, we'll go with the Usos. Next we have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. This is a cool little match, just to throw everyone on the card in a match. And I don't know what the winner wins, honestly, so I don't know what the purpose of the Rumble is. It's obviously for the memorial of Andre the Giant, but I don't know, hopefully there's something that comes with it, whether it be a trophy or I don't know, something hopefully comes with it. But so we got a bunch of names in here. I'm just gonna narrow it down. We got who I think it's gonna win. I think you gotta throw Sheamus in there. You gotta throw Big E. I think a young guy's gonna win. I think let me just look at this list one time over. Oh, Brad Maddox. He might win this. He might just steal the show. I'm gonna have to go with I think Sheamus or Biggie Langston, honestly. Those would be my front runners. I'd say more so Biggie Langston, just because, like, Sheamus doesn't really need a win like this. Like, he's already kind of established. Biggie Langston, on the other hand, is kind of establishing himself, and I think maybe a big win here will do that. So I'm gonna go with Biggie Langston. Next we have the Shield taking on Kane and the New Age Outlaws in a 6-man tag team match. I really don't know what the fuck they're doing with the Shield. Do they want to break them up? Do they not want to break them up? Like, what? I don't know what's gonna happen, but they're taking on Kane and the New Age Outlaws. This match will kind of, I don't know. I'm gonna expect, I don't know. I guess this is where the Shield breaks up, and then maybe have Dean and Roman feud for the U.S. title at Extreme Rules. Maybe, or maybe they'll just let Dean Ambrose hold the U.S. title forever. I don't know. But I think it's actually coming up on a year. Didn't he beat Kofi Kingston at Extreme Rules last year for the U.S. title? Holy shit, he really hasn't defended that thing at all. But whatever, enough about him. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this, mainly because, like, I'm not up to date with what's going on in the show, so, like, I don't know the direction. Like, yeah, I don't even know why they're having this match or what's the case, but I'll just go with Kane and the New Age Outlaws, and then that'll lead to the breakup of the Shield, I guess. But what's going to happen with the Authority? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We'll have to wait and see. Next, you have Vicky Guerrero's Diva Championship Invitational with the following participants. I shouldn't have read that last part, but whatever. So whatever, Divas Battle Royale, I guess? I don't know how it's going to work. Or maybe it's going to work like that Cruiserweight Invitational they had one year at WrestleMania. I think it was WrestleMania 20. Where they had a bunch of cruiserweights in the ring, and like they had two guys, or not in the ring, they had all the cruiserweights surround the ring, and then it started out with a singles match. And let's say, for example, it's Chavo versus Shannon Moore. If Chavo won, then one of the guys on the outside would roll in, and would continue until all of them are defeated. So I wonder if it's going to be like that, or is it going to be a battle royale? We'll have to wait and see, but I hope AJ doesn't lose here. Like, if she's gonna lose in a one-on-one match, but not in this match where it's a fucking free-for-all and anybody can win. I don't know who might win. AJ, Naomi, hopefully not Eva Marie. Holy shit. I think Natalya might win it, honestly. I think she's definitely a front runner. I'm gonna say Naomi. Oh my god, I almost said Eva Marie. I'm going to say Natalya, Naomi, or AJ Lee. I'm going to say one of them to win it. Or maybe Tamina, and then she feuds with AJ. Where it's like, okay, you won the match, now give me my title back. And it's like, no, I'm champion now. So, man, you know what? Let's throw Tamina in there, too. Tamina, Natalya, Naomi, or AJ. So, yeah, I don't know. It depends how the match works. If it's like that Cruiserweight thing I talked about, or if it's another Battle Royale, we'll just have to wait to see. Next, we have The Undertaker taking on Brock Lesnar. Without a doubt, I'm going to go with The Undertaker. It's going to be a very physical match. I expect Brock Lesnar to just beat the shit out of The Undertaker, but ultimately, the dead man will retain his undefeated streak. And then, let's talk about what happens after. And then, Sting comes out. I think Sting's gonna appear. You know, it's not been reported. He's confirmed. He is in New Orleans right now. And there's actually a video that was released recently where he's like, he was at a convention or whatever, and he was like, yeah, my favorite number is 31. Yeah. And of course, alluding to the fact that next year, WrestleMania 31, Sting and Undertaker. But there's been a lot of rumors that they might plant the seeds for that match this year at WrestleMania. We'll just have to wait and see, but I definitely think Sting might be making an appearance of some sort. He will be at WrestleMania. Definitely WrestleMania 30. Yeah, he's gonna fucking appear. I know Hogan's gonna be there. Rock's gonna be there, Stone Cold. It's gonna be fucking ridiculous, honestly. It's gonna be like you're in a time machine. You don't even need a time machine anymore because all the fucking generations of wrestling are gonna be at WrestleMania 30. So it's gonna be cool. But I think Sting's definitely gonna appear, and it's gonna set up, if not tonight, which I think it will be, because they'll just add to that whole WrestleMania thing. If not tonight, then tomorrow night at Raw. So that'll be interesting. I can't wait to see that. So I'm going with Undertaker. Next we got John Cena versus Bray Wyatt. I don't know who's gonna win, but I think the feud's gonna continue past WrestleMania, so it doesn't really matter who wins here. I'm just gonna go with Bray Wyatt here. Actually, I don't know. I'm torn here. I think this match could go either way. I'm gonna go with Bray Wyatt for now, and yeah. So. But it'll definitely lead to something at Elimination, or not Elimination Chamber, Extreme Rules. And then the two big matches. Of course, one leads into the other. Triple H versus Daniel Bryan. And the winner of this will be included into the main event, where it will become a three-way. It's going to be Triple H, or it's going to be Daniel Bryan. And honestly, I think it could go either way. I would love to see Daniel Bryan win and go in the main event and win, and then everyone chants his name and yes and blah blah blah, and then all the bullshit that he's had to go through the past couple months is all worth it because he wins it at WrestleMania. Or you can have the King of Kings come out and destroy Daniel Bryan, which he's known to do. So honestly, I'd love to see Daniel Bryan, but I wouldn't be surprised if Triple H wins. Hope, Triple H is a smart guy, but hopefully he knows what's best for business in this situation. So I'm gonna go with Daniel Bryan, but I would not be surprised. Actually, I would be surprised if Triple H won, but I also wouldn't be surprised because it's Triple H. So I'm gonna go with Daniel Bryan. Of course, the main event: Batista, Randy Orton for the WWE title, and Daniel Bryan. I think if Daniel Bryan's gonna be in here, he's definitely whoever wins this Daniel Bryan or Triple H. Whoever wins that is gonna win the WWE title. So, actually, something I could see is Daniel Bryan wins the WWE title, then he takes on Triple H at Extreme Rules. Oh, I can see that happening. I'm gonna go with Daniel Bryan to win it all, to beat Triple H, and then win the WWE World Title. Sorry about that. If you heard the bottle cap. So I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan. He's going to be the new champion. They're going to finally realize Daniel Bryan is a star. The crowd's going to go crazy. It's going to blow WWE's mind because it's like, why are they cheering for this little guy? And yeah, everything's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. So that's going to be WrestleMania. Of course, that happens tonight, or maybe even tomorrow. I don't know if I'll get the upload in time, but I'm recording this Sunday night. And actually, I'm looking at a Twitter feed right now. It says that Naomi taps out and oh no, okay, so AJ just retained her title. I thought it said Naomi tapped out AJ and won the title, but okay, that's cool. Well, no one really cares about the Divas title match, so sorry if I spoiled it for you. But you really didn't care. Let's just be honest. So yeah, that's WrestleMania. Those are my thoughts and things. So now that of course the WrestleMania has already happened, and I did my video a while ago how I would book WrestleMania. Now that both cards are finally revealed, let me know in the comments. Go back on that video, see what the card is there, or maybe I'll put it. No, I'll link the video in the description. Go check it out. And let me know, who do you think has a better card? The WrestleMania that's going on right now, or my WrestleMania? And you don't have to kiss my ass and say, oh shit, gangster, you're the best, whatever, you've made the awesome WrestleMania. If you don't agree and you think it sucks, whatever, that's fine. Tell me. I accept all criticism. So that is it for that. We got, there's not really any wrestling news to talk about, honestly. Not really anything that's like worth mentioning. Of course, the whole CM Punk situation, he walked out. Not a big fan of that, Just, I'm fine. He shouldn't have done it around this time. That's my whole thing on it. I think he should have waited till after WrestleMania if he wanted to walk out. Apparently he didn't see a match with Triple H is a big thing at WrestleMania, but that's pretty offensive towards him, who's like, he's a human being, he's got feelings, and Punk, I don't know, he just comes off as like this real authority figure, like he does everything he can to like disobey and disregard everyone's authority, and if it's not my way, it's the highway, and it's like, it comes off as very childish, but at the same time, I don't know everything that happened on backstage, and there could have been more to this story than there is, but yeah, he did it, he's gone. Honestly, I don't see him coming back, especially, if I was Triple H, I'd be pretty offended by CM Punk. I know he's not saying anything or whatever, he hasn't come out in interviews and said like, oh fuck Triple H or whatever, but it's like I'd be pretty offended, but it's also good for business to bring him back, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the weekly wrestling review. That's not so weekly. I guess that'll be the new name for the show, the weekly wrestling review that's not so weekly. So yeah, so I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, hopefully a lot of videos out this week. And yeah, I'm going to try my best to do the next weekly wrestling review as soon as possible. And that's about it. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Catch us next time. Till then, guys, peace out.